Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Strange Normal. My name is Brad Burnham. We talk about the stranger things that happen in your normal life to give you a biblical understanding of what's going on. And there's going to be a lot going on. So hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell icon so you're notified when things like this happen. Now, tonight's episode is going to be really interesting, but before we get into it, I want to tell you that all the content that comes from this episode comes straight from our Discord server. So you want to be a part of that, and you can be a part of that by going to patreon.com/strangenormal. They're on your screen. That's where all of our information comes from. For the cost of a sit-down meal, you can help us spread the word about this dangerous scenario that's about to come upon this world. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch Starfall. It's available right now on this channel. And we are live. Sorry about that. We had a little delay there, but man, it is going to be a eventful night. It's so much going on tonight. But before we get started, I want to bring in Aaron here. Aaron.
Hey, Brad.
Just in the nick of time. We have an amazing event established tonight. But before we get into it, Aaron, I got to show you something I just received live on air right now. Do you know what this is?
MREs?
No, not MREs. I got my trusty blade here, and I'm going to try not to hurt anything. I'm going to show you. No, I'm not going to show you who it's from because I'll show you the address too on live TV. But
let's see what we got.
Yeah, you're going to be excited. Everyone's going to be excited by this, and because I am sending some of these out to our Patreons. And do you know what it is yet, Aaron?
Oh, you know what I think? I think I do. I think I know what it is.
I'm excited about this. So check this out.
It's got to be the loot. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, we got tons of these things in here. I mean, he loaded us up. So this is the new, or not new, but I mean, it's new to me. Piercing the Cosmic Veil. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night. This is by Joseph Jordan and Jason Desimber. And this, from what I understand, has lots of testimonies, lots of information in it about the coming deception. This is really interesting stuff. I haven't read it yet, but I'm excited about it to see what's going on. And one of our Patreons said, "Why don't you include some of these cards that I have?" So I have these cards I've been handing out. Do you see what this is?
Oh, cool.
So these are
cool.
Yeah, these are the Starfall cards. I'm upside down. And they have a QR code on them.
code on there, huh?
Yeah. And so I'm going to send a bunch of these out to everyone that has asked for a book. We're giving these out free to our Patreon members, patreon.com/strangenormal. And if you're a part of any of the groups on Patreon, on our Patreon, because there's several different sections, we're going to send you a book, and that's available until this week, because I'm sending them out this week, and then you're not going to be able to get this for free. This is a really cool thing. So we got a ton of these in the box right now, and I'll be sending them out, and we already got a list of people that I'm going to be sending them to. Aaron, you got one already, right?
Yeah, I've got mine. It's actually right behind me, and it hangs out here.
All right. Yeah, so there you go. So I'm excited to dig into this book and see. I mean, it's super thick. I mean, this thing is, look how thick that is. I'm not much of a reader, but man, this is going to be something I'm not going to be able to put down. So anyway.
So Cricket Means in the chat wants to know if this is a book from people that you have interviewed.
This is from yeah, absolutely. This is from Joe Jordan. I have an interview. One of my first interviews on this channel was of Joe Jordan because I was really impressed with some of his information. If you don't know who Joe Jordan is, he's a MUFON director, and he was he was a Christian, and he realized the truth of what's going on behind this this weird event that's happening, and he started doing these presentations, doing YouTube interviews, and saying, "Hey, I have 400 400 of these testimonies from people that say they have overcome this strange thing that has happened to them by calling out and calling on the name of Jesus. And so,
can you, Brad, can you hold that cover up close to the camera? We've got some people who want to see the book. So it's got a alien there stepping through a curtain, like a veil with a galaxy behind it, and then this alien's holding it's holding a fruit, an apple.
Yeah. So what's going on here is and this is what I think he was going with it, because it has, I think, Hebrew on the apple. So the idea is that, and just as I put in Starfall, this same scenario is happening again. Mm-hmm. A strange deception is happening where that came to Eve and started talking to her, presented her with something that she should take. The same thing's going to happen again someday. Watch StarfallMovie.com. Something's going to happen, and we're going to say, oh my goodness, look, we got to reach out to these things. And they're going to present us with something to do that is terrible. More information, StarfallMovie.com. But we can't.
Someone else is asking here, Aaron, how's your wife and baby? Do we know it's a boy or girl yet? No, we're a little early for that. A little early for that. But thank you, Sandra. Appreciate it. And then Joe Jordan's in the chat now.
Perfect. Yeah, he's the one who wrote the book.
Hebrew says good and evil on the apple. The alien is offering.
That makes sense.
Okay, so it's the knowledge of good and evil. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's in Hebrew. It says good and evil.
Huh. Yeah. So he's got a little gray alien on the front. That's what they call him. Interesting. They call him gray.
Yeah. Hey, Brad, is there is there something with your audio?
Oh no, is the audio not working?
Well, your audio's working, but I almost feel like you're using a different microphone, like from your computer.
No, is it? Do you
have your recording microphone on?
Let me check. That's a good.
Yeah, because I can tell I'm hearing the echo of a room, but I know your room is sound.
How's that?
Insulated. Oh yeah, there we go. There goes that nice radio voice that we're all looking for.
No, I can't. I'm glad you caught that, and that's why I'm so glad you're here to tell me that, because that would have been awful if I did the entire show like that the whole time. In the chat, can you hear me better? Was I like that the whole time?
It was like that. It sounded like you were talking in a bathroom. So yeah. Rocky says, wow, I can tell the difference.
Yeah, I have a little microphone that sits above me. It's called a shotgun microphone, so it can actually hear me from the top. My other microphone is sitting on my desk over here. It's a desk microphone. That's too bad. I was talking on that the whole time.
Yeah,
that's what I get now. Well, we still got a great show tonight, and I'm glad people haven't left. We've got 50 in the chat already. I can see the long bumper did its job in getting people in here, because that was important. And we got some interesting stuff coming up. We had all kinds of stuff, Aaron, happen this week in the Discord, and last week too. We weren't able to do the live show last week.
Oh man, there's been so much. It feels like last time we were live was 2 weeks ago, and it feels like we just have 2 months worth of information that, I mean, we're not even going to scratch the surface here. But it's all of our awesome people in Discord who have been dumping this information. I mean, Brad, when you and I started this thing, it was, we were just sending information back and forth between you, myself, and Mikey, and we're like, wow, this is a lot of information. Now with the people that we have in Discord talking about this thing on a daily basis, I'm like, I can't keep up.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the point of this, is to take the very top of the scrape the surface of everything, and grab the most interesting things and throw them into the YouTube channel. If you want more, you got to join our Discord, because we go over everything there, from sermons about this to the most interesting information to the latest stuff. Anyway, enough of my commercial time. Let's get into the show.
We also have some Discord members inside the chat tonight, and we're very grateful for all of them. They are always here early and very hyped.
We actually, I had the show all made for today, and then someone posted something at the last minute, and I said, oh man, I got to include that. So let me jump right into Fox News, talking about the latest information here, because it's really fascinating what they're saying. You mind if we play this real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Here we go.
We haven't done a lot of UFO stories lately, but that doesn't mean the phenomenon has subsided. In fact, it seems to be accelerating, sightings the government cannot explain. The Daily Mail is reporting tonight exclusively that the Office of the Director of National Intelligence is about to send a classified report to Congress in which the government details more than 150 cases of unexplained UFO encounters in just the past year. In all, the report looked into more than 300 total encounters, and of those, half could not be explained. An amazing story, really. 150. Josh Boswell is the reporter at the Daily Mail who broke the story. He joins us tonight. Josh, thanks so much for coming on. That seems like an awful lot. Over what period were these 150 unexplained sightings?
And it could be significantly more than 150, but it's over just 1 year. The previous report we had was 143 unexplained cases from 2004 all the way up to 2021. So this is a significant increase, it seems.
Well, it's an exponential increase. What is this? I mean, I guess we can only guess, or maybe you know the answer. What does this suggest?
Well, part of the answer will be that the government is now looking for these things. They have much better reporting procedures. If an F-18 pilot comes across one of these objects that's hovering above the sea that they're flying around, they're more likely to report it now because there's a proper procedure in place. But also, I am hearing that we are encountering more and more of these things from sources that I speak to. It seems like it's a phenomenon that is not going away and needs to be investigated.
So there's been a lot of speculation about this. There was a Wall Street Journal piece recently that suggested this is actually a psyop by the U.S. government designed to draw your attention away from the fact that these objects are in fact some advanced military hardware the U.S. government itself has and wants to keep secret. What's your understanding of what government officials believe about these objects?
Well, the sources that I have are telling me they just don't know what these things are. You know, there's a proportion of these cases, 366 in this classified report that's going to Congress probably tomorrow, that are explained, that are Chinese drones, for example. But the unexplained ones, they just have no clue because these things are moving in ways that we just don't understand at hypersonic speeds, and then they just turn on a dime. I mean, it's incredible.
It would seem a little strange if the government were calling attention to its own classified weapons programs. So what you're saying, right, I think makes sense. Josh Boswell, thank you for this report. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Subscribe to the Fox News.
Yeah. He's like, come subscribe to my Discord channel. Maybe he's got a Discord. We'll go join him.
Well, he does have, I think, what was that guy's name? That was Tucker Carlson, right? He does a show just on UFOs. It's interesting because this is a bipartisan thing. You know how news is, at least in the U.S., has partisaned itself out into left and right. This is something that both are agreeing on that needs to be looked into. And just like we thought it would, just like we said a year ago, Aaron, this is going to becoming a bigger and bigger deal.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's going to merge both sides. I definitely think just hearing these reporters, seeing these news anchors, and also hearing the conversation happening inside the UFO community. I mean, everybody is unifying on this thing, except for there's a remnant of people who are saying, I think there's a different story going on here, and we're a part of that remnant.
right, 100%. So we're going to stay on this topic the whole time, but I think it's interesting that we have looked into this topic and we noticed that this thing goes right parallel against the New Age movement. Have you noticed that? How it's the spiritualism, the manifestations, what is it called when you think that you're going somewhere and you're flying out of your body? What's that called?
The astral projection.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing. And so I found a video that was on CBN, Christian Broadcast Network, that was interviewing a former witch that became a Christian that talks about this exact same thing. And it shows you that this phenomenon that's going on, this astral projection and all this other stuff, it's nothing new. So I want to play that real quick. Let's check this out.
Thanks so much for taking the time today to come on. You know, your story is really fascinating to me, reading a little bit about your family and your early life and your engagement with witchcraft. Now witchcraft, and I want to get into what exactly that means, but this was something that was generational in your family, correct?
Yes, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. Yes, so I basically come from 5 generations of witches. My mom was involved in it, my grandmother, my great grandmother. So I think it goes more, but as far as we know is 5, and then it ends in me. I cut that generational course. I always said it ends in me, it has to end in me, and that's what I have done. I broke the generational course from my bloodline.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and there's so much there to sort of chat through. But when people hear that word witchcraft, they tend to, in culture, think about things like hocus pocus, or they think about the way Hollywood has presented it to them, or they've seen it in movies. When we talk about the witchcraft that was in your family and that you participated in up until you were about 19 years old, and we'll get into that part of your story. But what did that witchcraft look like? What was that?
So witchcraft is basically when you are controlling and manipulating people. So it's basically through rituals and through things. You are trying to control people. You are trying to. Also, it depends on what the type of witchcraft that you are moving in. So we went from moving from white witchcraft, which is basically the one that they said that is not that bad, which is bad. And it's basically just connecting with nature, trying to do like healing rituals and apparently good things, which is no. And then we jump to the black witchcraft, which was more about manipulating people, sacrifices, and doing certain things to have our way. So witchcraft is always going to try to make you think that you have the power, which is now New Age is trying to tell people like, hey, you have the power, you can control, you can declare things and manifest things and think things and astral project. So basically witchcraft is that it makes you feel that you have a power that you cannot find anywhere else, and that with that power you can control people, you can change circumstances. So that's kind of like also how witchcraft runs: control, manipulation, making you feel that you are the only one that has that power.
Did you see any similarities there?
Yeah, I think she's spot on there. I'm very happy that she pointed that out, the manipulation and the control, because that's the prevailing sentiment in our culture right now. You find it in a lot of these, radical social justice movements. It's about manipulation, it's about control, it's about power, it's about how can we get this power for myself to manipulate the outcome. I mean, it's a witchcraft, it's a sorcery. I like that she pointed that out. And often when I hear people talk about witchcraft, they talk about Satan and demons and devils, but she says, no, this is about manipulating outcomes. And that's a sin.
Yeah, no, and she also brought out that this is about manipulating people to get what you want.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's a telltale sign right there.
Yep.
I mean, it's not about what we want or what we can do inside of ourselves. That's another aspect she pointed out, what you can do inside, the power that is within. Those are key words about the New Age that are also in ufology and how you can manipulate things outside of yourself. So I think we're seeing the occult. I mean, even the Blink-182 guy, Tom DeLonge, right? He got really involved in this. He said there's something strange that's very occultic about this UFO stuff. Anyway,
I mean, he outright called it. That he said that I believe this was Tom DeLonge saying that they behave like demons do in the Bible, or was that Lou Elizondo? One of them. I think two guys have actually made the connections between the satanic, evil sorcery type manifestation and the alien thing as well. Hey, Brad, not to be a pest, but you might also want to know that your camera is about I'd say an eighth too high. You might.
I know.
Okay.
Actually, I have different scenes here. I'm gonna switch to different scenes.
Okay.
So that
we can... just looking out for you for post production purposes.
Oh, I know. Well, there's nothing post about this live, so
no,
everything live is going straight on YouTube. So
no, you look good. I'm actually in a higher chair right now than I normally am because my wife has the the office chair.
So check this out. Speaking of other people that are coming on to this knowledge, someone sent me this clip, and let me tell you real quick before we start on this. This is going to be a sermon that was presented by in where was it? Highland Church in Tennessee, and it was presented by Dale Earnhardt's cousin. All right, so watch this. This is interesting. Just a short clip of what he says. This is really telling.
Verse 4, his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. 1/3, the third part of the stars of heaven. Again, the symbolism, angels. Isn't it amazing that 1/3 of the angels went with Satan instead of God and rebelled in heaven and were cast out?
Listen,
it's a whole nother subject. I have to preach it here one of these days somehow. Come back or something maybe and share this. But the devil, he's not finished yet. Before the Lord comes back, he's going to cause all kinds of, looks like miracles. We might even see more sightings of UFOs, because the book of Ephesians says that Lucifer, the devil, is the prince of the air. And he's out to deceive mankind any way he can. He's going to go as far, Matthew 24 says, that he is going to claim the place of Christ and will appear and claim to be Jesus. Now I'm talking about this weekend. Saturday, and then our closing meeting Sunday morning, about the second coming, how Christ will come and how the devil will attempt to impersonate Jesus Christ. Wow. But we need to know about it. But let's read on. We're in Revelation.
So I stopped it right there, but that people are waking up to this. I think it's fantastic, because they're looking at the Bible and they're going, what's going on in current events? What's happening here? And what does the Bible say about these things? We're going to see a split, and it's going to be very divisive. I think that's what's happening here.
Yeah, he was getting really close. You can tell he wanted to say something. He's like, yeah, my church ain't ready. Might be ready next week, but they ain't ready this week. Oh, what church was that?
That was Highland Church in in Highland, Tennessee.
Yeah.
So
right. I'm about to come down to Tennessee and join this men's church.
No, I think he was a guest speaker. He was doing an all weekend thing. So, but that was Dale Earnhardt's cousin. I think it's right. I'll have to get his name put in the show notes.
Get his name and his number. We'll talk to him.
Okay, we got 2 news clips coming up before our main event here, and so I want to, because I got to catch everyone up.
I'm ready for the main event.
Yeah. Yeah, you are ready for the main event. You're the one that posted it. So.
Yeah, I'm like a pit bull on a chain. Just
all right. Here we go. 2 news clips. This is Jeremy Corbell.
Next week, the eyes of the US Congress will be on the sky as they hand down a report on potentially extraterrestrial encounters.
Now look, while most sightings turn out to be like weather balloons, space junk, or foreign surveillance devices, maybe even now drones, some are unable to be explained. So joining us now to discuss this is investigative reporter and editor of ExtraordinaryBeliefs.com, Jeremy Corbell in Los Angeles. Jeremy, good to see you. This is a huge topic. People debate it all the time. Why do you think there's been an increase, let's say, in sightings in the last year?
Yeah, it is a huge topic, and it should be a huge topic because the sightings have increased in frequency. And this is due to an actual increase of these unidentifieds flying with impunity within our restricted airspace. But also our technologies are getting better in some of our fighter planes, where we're able to track and verify through multi-platforms that these things are real. UFOs are real. They outpace, outmaneuver, and outperform anything we have. So this is a real issue.
I love this story so much. US intelligence agencies are set to release a report next week about UFO incidents. What are you expecting to hear?
Yeah, well, look, fingers crossed that we do get this report next week. It was actually due on Halloween, but that could be internally. They have to put out an unclassified version because the public wants to know. This is a flight safety issue for our aviators, but also this is something that's been with humanity for a long time. So in this report, my highest hopes is there's no more obfuscation and ridicule that really kills the scientific study of what is a very real phenomenon, which is UFOs.
Yeah, right. So there's greater calls for transparency, like you're saying, for UFOs or UAPs, as now they like to be called. I mean, should this just be, it should just be on the public record, shouldn't it?
And that's exactly what people are doing. And you're right, there is a call for transparency that is beyond anything that I have seen in my generation and in my lifetime. People want to know the truth. They have a duty, in my eyes, to find out the truth. This is a global phenomenon. I get emails from Australia every day with videos. This is something that the public is curious about, rightfully so. It's a vast universe.
Jeremy,
what we're seeing is not our technology.
Have you seen anything, or have you, through this, your website and your discussions with lots of people, have you seen something that has absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, convinced you?
Yeah, it's a cumulative effect of evidence, but certainly, as you see from what I've been able to obtain and release, which is confirmed military footage of UFOs from multi-system platforms, that was something that I put out with my mentor in journalism, George Knapp. Imagine what I can't put out. So there are so many things that have convinced me there's a true mystery here, and there is a physical aspect to it in craft. I don't have the luxury of disbelief.
So, for a long time, people would have thought that this sort of reporting or this sort of investigating was just a bit kooky or a bit of a conspiracy theory. And now these sorts of reports, they sort of vindicate what you're talking about. How does that make you feel?
Right. So the climate has changed in this world when it comes to this topic. I think we've sobered up. We're looking at this now through the eyes of this is actually being picked up with our radar systems by our pilots, by credible people. Sure, there's a sense of vindication for people that have been into this, but much more importantly, we are now facing reality and we're saying who are operating these craft? Where do they come from and what do they want?
I often feel like, especially leaders who probably have access to this information, like apparently Obama had access to this information, or Trump, or Joe Biden, they never say anything, and I don't know why they're not saying anything, or they're just going, guys, it's fine, it's just a few things.
Especially Trump. He said everything else.
I know, he said literally everything else. So are we going to get any closer to confirmation, possibly? I mean, next week is midterms over there, so it might be pushed again, but are we getting any closer to actually finding extraterrestrial life?
So I don't know that UFOs necessarily represent extraterrestrial life. It might be stranger than that. We might be dealing with a natural phenomenon that's been here longer than us. There does seem to be craft, though, and those craft need to be occupied or driven by an intelligence, biological or not. So look, this is the big mystery. This is what we need to find out. It would be a great waste of space if there weren't other beings. But the real question is not, are there aliens or this sort of thing? The real question is, who's visiting here?
What do you think?
I'm going to suspend my judgment until we can get a larger study on this. And everybody in the scientific community should be salivating over this. This is uncharted territory. It's unexplained. This is a new topography, and we are cartographers. This is a whole new world where science can study a phenomenon that could give us a lot of answers that could help a lot of people.
Jeremy, we want to touch base with you when this report comes out again. So thank you so much for being here. We really do appreciate it. As I said, there's a lot of people that cite stuff here in Australia. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, just stay curious about it. It's an important topic. Thank you.
Will do.
Absolutely.
I actually think it's us coming from the future to the past to see that. So I
was
that
just
what we're
thinking
seeing
that. That's why I asked him what he thought.
Future us.
Okay. Also, I would just like to take this opportunity with DC to say that we swear allegiance to our new alien overlords and any alliance who happen to be out there today as well.
Of course.
All right. I let that go for a very long time because I thought, look how much airtime they're giving this now. And during the whole broadcast, I was laughing at Reagan. He was just making a bunch of jokes in the chat here. And I did see who was it now? I lost the comment, but they were saying, look at his rings on his finger. I didn't catch what his rings were, and it was too blurry for me to look at. Otherwise, I would have paused.
Check it out later.
Yeah.
There's a Bible verse that came to mind when he said that, it's a big mystery. And one of the things that the Bible verses that we quote often here on this channel is about the mystery of iniquity, that works in the last days. Also, there's another mystery in the book of Revelation, and that's mystery Babylon. So we do have a mystery that's going on here, but we talk about it's 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and it's on the man of lawlessness. And just to keep driving this verse into people's minds, into the forefront of their minds, I'm going to read it here. It says, "Now concerning the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and our being gathered together with him, we ask you, brothers, not to be easily disconcerted or alarmed by any spirit or message or letter seeming to be from us, alleging that the day of the Lord has already come. Let no one deceive you in any way, for it will not come until the rebellion occurs and the man of lawlessness, the son of destruction, is revealed. He will oppose and exalt himself above every so-called God or object of worship, so that he will seat himself in the temple of God, proclaiming himself to be God." It goes on to tell you, like remember, I've told you these things, and it says that the mystery of lawlessness is already at work, but the one who now restrains it will continue until he is taken out of the way. And then the lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord Jesus will slay with the breath of his mouth. And it's just so telling. Every time I hear these news anchors and these ufologists say, "Oh, it's such a mystery, it's such a mystery, it's such a mystery." Well, where do we see the mystery in the Bible? Well, there's this mystery of iniquity, and then we have the mystery Babylon, and both of those things point to the rise of spiritualism in the last days, and this great deception that will sweep the world that involves signs being in the sky.
Right.
So, I mean, you would think it'd be so easy to put all these together, but no, people don't love the truth to begin with, and so they believe the lie, as the scripture says.
Oh, that's so 100%. I don't know if I included this, but in when we get talking about the main event here, I'm not sure if I added this clip, but they start talking about these tablets, and they're so enthralled on these tablets that they found because it's made of stone. And I thought, are you kidding me? We have already got tablets, and you guys are focused on some Sumerian tablets. And so they don't love the truth. If they loved the truth about rock tablets that they've unearthed, then they would have
The
loved
10 Commandments, huh?
Yeah. There's truth already, but they don't love the truth. So that's proof already.
Who would have thought that the history of mankind would just conclude on tablets, Brad, on tablets? Because you have the 10 Commandments that were written, on these tablets of stone. And then you have these tablets that all the ufologists and the spiritualists are obsessed with, the Sumerian tablets. And really, at the end of the day, we know that the Lord wants to write his commandments on the tablets of our heart. And, we receive that inscription through having a relationship with Jesus Christ, that no matter how much these theorists theorize about these ancient Anunnaki and Sumerian cultures and myths and legends, it doesn't convert the soul. It's just knowledge. It's head knowledge, and it's all false.
Right. The covenant will be written on our hearts. And so that's the new covenant. Man, that's fantastic. It's interesting what's coming down the pipeline. Let's get going on this next clip.
What you got?
From the
Sorry, I'm getting a little scruffy here, man. It's November.
Oh, am I supposed to not be shaving? Oh,
yeah, well. no shave November. It's starting to snow. We got snow today, so about that time.
All right, here we go.
This morning, top intelligence officials are set to deliver an updated UFO report to Congress. The hope that it'll provide explanations for some of the hundreds of UFO sightings in recent years. Officials familiar with the findings telling the New York Times most resolved cases were caused by weather balloons, trash in the sky, or foreign spying. While it's not clear how much of the Pentagon's findings will be made public, officials with the Department of Defense tell NBC News it's committed to the principles of openness and accountability to the American people, which it must balance with its obligation to protect sensitive information, sources, and methods. Intelligence officials have been able to explain some of the unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP sightings in the past, telling lawmakers last year these glowing pyramid shapes flying over a Navy destroyer off the coast of California were likely drones captured through night vision. Military officials now telling the Times this sighting, which appears to show an object flying at incredible speeds, could be an illusion. And whatever is in the video might only be flying at around 30 miles an hour.
Well, if there's a
They also tell the Times this rotating object flying near Navy pilots is a result of the optics of a classified image sensor used to help target weapons.
What was splashed?
Still, there are sightings that remain unexplained, like the videos captured by airline pilots earlier this year showing lights flying for hours near the Big Dipper, which some analysts say could be satellites.
Let's say 99% of all of these cases turn out to be something normal. Where does that leave us?
These cases that they just cannot explain, that is not only a national security problem, it should make everyone in the world curious as to whether we've already been visited or not.
Still, defense officials say many sightings remain unidentified because there is often not enough information collected during the encounter, telling us there is no single explanation that addresses the majority of UAP reports, and we will not rush to conclusions in our analysis.
These officials that spoke anonymously to the New York Times say some of this is likely spying by the Chinese, adding that they may be trying to learn how the U.S. trains its military pilots. How much of that or any of the more mysterious stuff gets declassified is still yet to be seen. Back to you guys.
All right, Gotti, thank you.
I don't think China really cares about how the U.S. trains its pilots.
Yeah. Oh man, Brad, I think what we're seeing, I feel like that there's a script that people are going off of here. I'm noticing a lot of the same buzzwords show up in all of these different articles I read or these headlines. These news reels. A lot of the same messaging, a lot of the same pattern, I mean, the same syntax, everything. And then when you listen to these ufologists, it does sound like that there's a script that people are going off of, which tells me that there is some orchestrating going on here. And I'm not saying that there are some nefarious, men in suits orchestrating this thing. There could be, but I think that there's a spiritual script that's happening. Yeah. I mean, people they're having the same message that they're giving, even down to the, he said, well, let's say 99% of these are, explainable. I've heard that hundreds of times, yeah, I feel like this is all coming to a pinnacle. I've got to edit a video. That's a good idea for a video. We got to get a clip of all of these news anchors saying the exact same thing, right, and overlay it on top of each other. That would be interesting.
That would be fascinating. Yeah, and tell me when you get that clip, or when you know what? Yeah, that's a really good idea. I think I have an idea how to get that together. But anyway, right. we'll talk about that in the Discord. We'll talk. But very fascinating. Now we got Bill. Okay, so I got to intro this guy. This is what we're really going to talk about tonight. Billy Carson. Billy Carson. So he was interviewed on a YouTube channel called Concrete, which has no concrete in it, but it had 200 plus subscribers. It was a significant podcast. But what it did was I started thinking about this, and I was like, man, this guy's getting a lot of publicity, and he has a lot of the same things to say. And one thing I've noticed, and this was brought about in the pre-show in the Discord beforehand, is that all these guys that are spouting all this silly information, they have a very authoritative speak about this, that you can't even tell they're making this stuff up. But by the end of this, you're going to be saying something's going on here. This is strange, because this guy's just talking out, trying to figure it out. He doesn't even know what he's saying. All fake facts. Anyway, let's get into
fake facts, fake news, right? Fake news. And how many clips do you have, Brad?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, around what? They're probably a minute long each, or something like that. Okay, so you guys. Those who are watching, we had to endure 2 hours of this. So I'm going to try not to get fired up. But as I was listening to this discourse, I wanted to strangle something. and there was nothing next to me that I could strangle. It was bad. So we endured 2 hours of what we're about to show you. So you guys didn't have to endure those 2 hours.
All right, so this is the intro, just to show you how this guy's being gushed over as the smartest man in the world, and then we'll get into what he actually says. Here we go.
Billy Carson, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, man, for coming here.
Hey, thank you.
You are one of the most fascinating people to follow on Instagram. Wow. Your videos, all the things that you look into and talk about are just so, out there. a lot of it's really out there for me, but it's just so fascinating, and I've often fallen down many rabbit holes watching your videos and following your content.
Okay, so here we go.
The fact that anomalies are there that are unexplainable, even though we're not there. They don't look like rocks. Even NASA says they don't know what they are. If you read the Enuma Elish and the 7 Tablets of Creation or the Atrahasis epic, when they talk about the Ijiji occupying and living on Mars with advanced technology and visiting and going back and forth from Mars to Earth, this to me verifies that story in the ancient Sumerian tablets.
Okay, those
you see what he did there? I'm going to pause it where I normally wouldn't pause it, but you see, he just spouted a bunch of terminology that nobody has any idea what he's talking about, and so the host is going, of course, yes, of course that proves the Sumerian tablets. Someone smarter than me probably knows what he's talking about, but that you don't prove facts with words someone doesn't know.
Yeah, he's very charismatic, and you'll find throughout his interview is that, oh wow, you've got someone with a very nice, compelling kind of voice. He also has this backstory that we didn't have here today, but his backstory is, I grew up poor, grew up in the hood, and blah blah blah, and then I became highly intellectual, and I'm a scientist now, and I've read so many books. As a matter of fact, so many books I have read. And and he's just, and he drops all of these fancy esoteric and words from the Sumerian and those different cultures and whatnot. He sounds really compelling because he also talks really fast, and then you're like, wow, everything he's saying must be true. And then you got this guy from Concrete eating it up the whole entire time, and if you're not discerned, you're going to be like, yeah, I can see there's got to be whatever he's saying is. And he sort of shows, anyway, don't get, Brad, go ahead.
Yeah. Here we go. I gotcha.
Tablets that you just, I don't even know what you said, but
the Enuma Elish and the 7 Tablets of Creation, one of the most.
Enuma Elish. Okay.
The Bible is plagiarized from the Old Testament, is plagiarized from the Enuma Elish.
What?
Oh,
a lot of the Old Testament is coming from there, but they kept out a lot of the stuff talking about, beings living on other planets.
Okay, so tell me how the Bible is plagiarized by the Enuma Elish. Okay. Tell me how Daniel, the book of Daniel that talks about, okay, let's go to Daniel 2 just for a second here. That big statue in Daniel that was talked about how the king had the dream, Nebuchadnezzar, right? Head of gold, breast of silver, all this stuff. And it showed that the Bible's legitimate by showing that God can tell the future, and it did to a T. We're in the toenails of time, according to that. If you haven't read Daniel 2, chapter 2, go read it. It tells you exactly how to prove the Bible. It's really interesting. That's nowhere in the Enuma Elish.
Yeah. Well, this whole tablet claim, people, it's written in stone, so it must be like there's no way anybody at a later period has ever gone to these, and created a tablet with a bunch of stories and narratives on it, right? Like, I mean, a tablet isn't the thing that makes something true. And one thing that really bothers me about this, this new modern spiritualism, this new age pseudoscience, ancient alien things, is that if it's the oldest thing, then it must be true also. No. It doesn't work like that. Truth doesn't work like that. Just because something is old doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it true. So this is the first time he bashes the Bible in this interview, or at least in the clips that you have. So his first little instance of bashing the Bible, what you will find is that he uses the Bible. Well, first he bashes the Bible, but then he uses the Bible to try to back up his claim. So he doesn't know whether or not he trusts the Bible. He has no idea. This is how he spends this entire 2-hour long interview.
Okay, here we go. Next clip. Oh no, I always do that. Let's scoot ahead.
Good, because I'm not finished, Brad. I'm just kidding.
Let's see where we can get to that clip here.
And Joe Jordan's in the chat right here. Just he's egging it on. He's fanning the flames. He knows I'm agitated with this whole interview.
I think I got it. Let me see what he talks about here. He should talk about Mars now. Let's see.
The fact that anomalies are there that are unexplainable, even though we're not there. They don't look like rocks. Even NASA says they don't know what they are.
Yeah.
If you read the Enuma Elish and the 7 tablets of creation or the Atrahasis epic, when they talk about the Ijiji occupying and living on Mars with advanced technology and visiting and going back and forth from Mars to Earth, this to me verifies that story in the ancient Sumerian tablets.
Okay.
Okay, those tablets that you just, I don't even know what you just said, but
the Enuma Elish and the 7 tablets of creation, one of the most
Enuma Elish. Okay.
The Bible is plagiarized from the Old Testament, is plagiarized from the Enuma Elish.
Oh,
a lot of the Old Testament is coming from there, but they kept out a lot of the stuff talking about beings living on other planets.
Okay, now watch this.
In the modern day Bible, God is actually mistranslated as God singular, when in true reality, when you go to the back into the ancient text, it's really God's with an S. They took off the S to make it the monotheistic mindset. And then you realize that it's, when you read the Enuma Elish and the Atrahasis epic, you realize that they copied all that ancient text and put it into, a lot of it into the Old Testament of the modern day Bible.
So
he has never read the Bible before. Absolutely, he has never. I don't even think he's studied about the history of the Bible ever.
So did you catch that? He said they removed the S. Okay. Tell me this. Is every language, to make it plural, do you add an S on the end of it? Do you add an S on Hebrew?
It's Elohim. Elohim is plural.
Yeah.
Plural for gods, but there's no S.
I get that, but there's no. Yeah, that's my point. There's no S. There's no S in the Greek. There's no S in the Hebrew. There's no S in the Aramaic, and apparently they removed the S to make the Bible. No. But I get the whole idea that, and this is going to be brought up, I'm sure, by the internets in the world, and I'll get comments about this. Yeah, Elohim, and that's talking about God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Oh, here we go. I'm going to get comments about the Trinity now. But
well,
listen to me.
Don't worry about that, because
listen to me. It's important because God was trying to make a separation between, hey, we are one God together. Because all you Egyptians serve multiple gods. And so we, as I'm saying, we are one God. You can't have love without multiple persons of the Godhead. If it was just one singular God, love doesn't exist. It doesn't. You can't love as a singular person. And so in the beginning was God, and God was God in 3 persons. Anyway. Off my soapbox, off my rant box.
Nah, man, this is your soapbox. Go get it, bro.
Okay, you ready to talk about Enoch?
Yeah, and there's a lot to say about the Elohim controversy. I know, and this is not an endorsement for all the works of Michael Heiser. He does a really good job of breaking down the usage of the word Elohim in the Bible. Yeah. And the answer to that is no, it's not aliens. This guy is the black version of the orange-haired, orange-skinned guy on Ancient Aliens. I mean, literally. So here's the thing. The guy on Ancient Aliens always goes, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. This guy basically says, like, no, everything is aliens.
Here we go.
The only Bible that has the Book of Enoch in it is the Ethiopian Bible. It's the only Bible in the world that actually incorporated the Book of Enoch into their canonized text. The rest of the Bibles omitted the Book of Enoch. And the wars of these gods can be found in the Book of Deuteronomy. The wars of the gods, these are the Atlantean wars that everybody's trying to figure out what happened. It's in the Book of Deuteronomy in the Bible.
Yeah,
all the wars are right there.
But you say a lot of this was omitted from the Bible, right?
Yeah, but the Deuteronomy is actually in there.
The Deuteronomy, and so what is the Deuteronomy?
It's a book in the Bible.
It's a book in the Bible. Okay.
The modern day Bible. Anybody can go open their Bible and go, oh, Deuteronomy, let me read this. They don't read it, especially in Bible study. But the reason why is because you have God, which is actually gods, plural, going to war against other gods in other towns and cities and other regions of the planet, and sending human beings to these places to go to battle, and sending angels with them with battle gear on to fight and kill. And the words are, go there, get in, kill the women, kill the children, kill the animals if need be. And if you see any women that you like, you can rape them. These are the exact words used. I want you to get a Bible and look it up.
Okay. Everyone put a red flag in the comments if you're listening to this. tell me in the Bible where it says God told all the men in Israel to go rape the women.
No, Brad, you got it wrong. It's aliens. It's aliens, right? It's because we're dealing with the plural here, Brad. So it's got to be the aliens.
So, but see what he's doing? He's saying
Yeah,
that these aliens are the Elohim that have come down and told the people, and there are multiple of them, and they're coming back as the Sumerians have told us through the Sumerian tablets, and that's our gods.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that might happen, but it's not our gods.
Brad, what he's earlier today, earlier in this live stream, you posted you showed us the video of the woman exposing witchcraft. She says it's about manipulation and control. What he's doing is using words, semantics, language to manipulate and control, to lie to people about the narrative of the Bible. Because at first he goes, oh, no, you can't trust the Bible. The Bible's a lie. Oh, that thing's been completely plagiarized. Blah, blah, don't, you can't. Oh, where's it found? Oh, it's in Deuteronomy. So you got to go to Deuteronomy. By the way, if you want the truth about how this works, okay, so the Bible's about God. They changed it to God. And then now he's accusing God of sending military and armies to go pillage and plunder and rape. And then he says it's God. So it's aliens when he wants it to be aliens, and it's God when he wants it to be God.
Right.
That's manipulation.
What kind of God?
Sorcery.
Yeah, what kind of God? He thinks that God is telling all these people to go and rape and pillage. Is that the kind of God he wants to serve? Is that the alien he wants to serve? I mean, I think that's. I mean, we could go on and on and on just about that one comment. But there's huge red flags there.
Yeah,
like
we're gonna have to fix my audio levels later on because I know I'm yelling.
Well, I think it's interesting because you did say just a while ago, you said this guy hasn't read. He hasn't read it, but he's like Deuteronomy. It's in the Bible. Deuteronomy. You go read that.
Read Deuteronomy. He's watched Ancient Aliens, and he's probably listened to that. What's that guy? Zechariah Stitchin.
Is that his name? The big haired guy?
No, Zechariah. He's the top UFO ancient alien guy. He's the guy who says that there's like a 12th planet.
Oh,
and, he's got this whole different creation myth that they're just flipping stuff on their head. But go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
And if you decide you rape him, if you decide you want to keep him as wife, you can take him, but bring the spoils of war back to me. This was these internal battles going on from one region of the world to another region of the world, stealing and fighting over humans and resources. These people have become so evil, fighting against each other and utilizing human beings as chattel. And that's all in the book of Enoch.
What?
So God is good and loving and he's all the same all the time. But all of a sudden you read the book of Enoch and you go, what's going on? But the book of Deuteronomy, you read the book of Deuteronomy, you go, what's going on here? These aren't exactly the stories that, described. I don't think it's talking about the creator of the universe in that book.
He's got the story wrong. That's why he hasn't read it. Well, anyway, let's be off that topic. Let's continue.
Let's keep going.
When I started Googling and trying to find if anybody was looking at these anomalies, I came across information about the Anunnaki. That's the name of the beings that, according to the ancient texts, came from heaven to earth. In the Egyptian culture, they call them the Natiru. And they said they came to earth and turned mud into a kingdom. In the Bible, they call them the Enoch. They have these names in all different cultures. They all show up around the same time in every culture. And I started finding more instances of them in every culture I looked into around the same time period. And I go, these people really came here at some point in the distant past. It seems to be now around 450,000 years ago they arrived. And about 200,000 years ago, according to the text, not me, they started genetically tinkering with human beings, saying they were adding their essence to them to get us to do the labor for them.
Nowhere said no one ever in the Bible. Again, and did he say the Enoch? Did he mean Enoch, like the singular person?
He's talking about Enoch.
He applied it to everybody. Is there an Enoch? I don't think
there's an Enoch in the Bible. It's ANN. Let me double check.
Oh, is it? Oh, is it ANN? Okay, I thought he was talking about Enoch.
No, he's not talking about Enoch. Well, he is referencing the book of Enoch, which is First Enoch, which most people reference, and some people get into the second and third. But what he's doing is that he's playing hopscotch, and whenever he wants to make his point, he's going to use whatever his source to, to back up whatever his point is. In this case, the Bible, and when he wants the Bible to be irrelevant, he talks about the Bible in a way that makes the Bible irrelevant. And he's, naming a bunch of different, you'll find throughout this, his interview, that he's just throwing a bunch of names out there, and he's saying, well, this is happening over here, this is happening over here, and this is happening over there. What do you find there?
I'm looking through it, and I typed in Enoch. It wants me to go to Antioch, which I recognize that term from the Bible, but
Anak. So we're looking at the sons of Enoch, and he's talking about the let's see, we are in.
Okay.
I should just pull up the Bible software here. Deuteronomy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anakim. So you have the Anakim are strong and tall.
Anakim. And so is his only tie to that this kind of sounds like the Anunnaki? So it's Anakim?
Yeah, he's doing a little bit of that too. So yeah, he's trying to. It's like you ever hear the analogy, like people who treat the Bible like trail mix? They just kind of take the things out of there that they want, and then get rid of everything else. So that's what's happening here with this interview. So he's going to bring a lot of different, and this is what the New Age is. It is a salad. It is a stew of all sorts of different religions, and nothing's very, in the New Age, there's no such thing as line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little,
Right.
there a little, right? It's just here a little, there a little. They don't have the consistent Genesis to Revelation, or like, oh no, if we're gonna pull from Buddhism, we need to like stick with the Buddhist text, and if we're gonna pull from Islam, let's stick with the Islam text. But no, the Bible interprets itself, and that's where most people go wrong when they try to debunk the Bible, because they try to debunk the Bible using all this other stuff, and it just doesn't work like that.
Doesn't. Good. Yeah, we're gonna dig into that Enoch a little bit later, but that's not. It's not even a concern to me.
Sandra is spot on. She says Babylon, confusion, everything mixed together. Absolutely, and that's the mystery, right? We mentioned that earlier. Mystery Babylon, the mystery of iniquity. It is confusion. People are confused. They're bringing all these different ideas together. There we go. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, next.
But the big problem with this information is that it's detrimental to the system and the status quo. It literally would break down religious systems overnight. You're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar system that generates a lot of money for a lot of people, and those religious systems donate a lot of money to I call it polytricks.
Polytricks.
Yeah. And I'm talking about millions of dollars a year. All right. And so all of a sudden that goes away. A religious system collapse globally would definitely affect the global economy almost overnight. But that will go away because people realize the information that they have been brought up learning is actually severely inaccurate, and that the information is based on plagiarized tablets, and the real stories are in the tablets, a full unedited, undoctored human. When I'm going to change these words around here and there, that's not done in the tablets. The tablets is what it says. When you come to the Bible, all of a sudden you get to a lot of text like Jesus saying, honor your slave master as you would honor me. Do you think that just guy would really say something like that if he's all this light and he's a light being and he's all about love and salvation, and then he's telling you now, no, you better obey that slave master? Come on, that's somebody, let me write this in there because it's going to benefit us. When you write this in, we can tell the slaves, hey, you see what Jesus said? You better listen to Jesus. So this is a lot of twisting and turning. The Bible is a remix, is what it really is. There's
a lot of twisting and turning.
And so all of a sudden you bring this real information, all this stuff collapses overnight. We're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar control system gone like that.
So I
have a look at Mr. Billy Carson's bank account. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Well, I think he got one thing right, and one thing alone, that when this thing comes in and people start going towards this idea, it's going to hurt a lot of the truth, a lot of churches, and it's possibly going to collapse a few. That's dangerous. It's even going to, I believe it's even going to hurt the church that I belong to, but it's not going to fail because of what we're doing right now. This is how important this work is. This is how important we have to get this information out, because it's going to divide people. People are going to go into wrong churches. They're going to go into this new age agenda. And that's what it's going to polarize the two groups into. It's fascinating to see what we got going here.
Yeah.
Now, I think our audience is probably smart enough to understand that that slave master thing. What do you think? Should we go over that?
Oh man, I mean, that's just, I've been saying for a while, this stuff is going to start getting into the social justice. I mean, that's inevitable. That's where we're at as a culture. And as long as this stuff doesn't fit into the culture war, then the news is not going to want it. They're going to try to figure out a way that this has got to fit into our modern culture war narrative in order for this to be relevant. And that hasn't happened yet. But you got guys like Billy Carson, who's got this, this coming of age from rags to riches story. And you've got that movie, which was from P and Keel called Nope. And I mean, for the first time ever, I posted this on Twitter just I think this past week about how, this is like Black people aren't dealing with this and have not been dealing with this. But I think we're going to see that kind of shift. And it, mark my words, it started with that movie Nope. Black people have not been interested in UFOs and aliens. But what happened was Nope brought the social justice, the wokeism into the message by having, the LGBTQ as a main character, the woman who's a lesbian and appealing to the Black culture, with this whole alien hunter kind of thing. And Brad, once something becomes popular in Black popular culture, it becomes popular globally. It becomes worldwide. Black hip hop, Black culture, it drives popular culture. I mark my words, it will happen. You will see this thing go mainstream.
Well, so hold up. What you're saying is, and I think I understand what you're saying, but tell our audience, are you saying that UFOs, UAPs, and all this so-called abduction stuff is not popular and is not occurring among the Black community?
No, I mean, come on, to the video that we just uploaded onto the channel the other day. I mean, it's absolutely true. Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. It has not been a thing. It's not a thing. It is, it was birthed. And we talked about the girls, the three sisters in New York. They say that was the birthplace of modern spiritualism. We've talked about the Theosophical Society and the talking to celestial beings. And I've told you, Brad, when we met, I was an experiencer. I had a UFO and alien experience. And guess what I was doing? I was in the New Age. I wasn't just minding my business in the hood somewhere. I was in the New Age. And once you open the door to that sort of spiritualism and meditation, and that's what's happening in the Black culture right now. Every girl is walking around calling herself a goddess right now. Well, where are they getting that? Right. It's coming from heathen spiritualism. And we're seeing a rise in New Age spirituality in the Black culture. The theosophical philosophies are rising in the Black culture. And what's happening is that this thing is going to make a straight 90-degree segue into this UFO and UAP phenomena. And Billy Carson, I think his voice is going to become extremely relevant as time progresses.
It is interesting. And I have read the statistics that this seems to be a strange phenomenon primarily based in the United States and among Caucasians.
Yeah.
That's not a racist comment. That's statistics. That's weird.
Well, it has nothing to do with the skin color. It has everything to do with Madame Blavatsky, who was, I believe she was Russian, born in Russia. I don't know if she ever lived in Ukraine. I think she had some connection. Maybe she lived there for a little bit, but she was born in Russia. She came to the United States, and she also went all around the world, bringing in all these different religions and formed the Theosophical Society. But that formed here in America. And that's where all these, these secret societies, these occult societies, the Freemasons, the Illuminati, all those different little groups. Well, what's the secret? The secret is that they talk to spirits. Like that's what it comes down to. The secret is that they communicate to spirits of devils. They are devil worshippers.
Wow.
And so it has nothing to do with skin color, but it has started in the U.S. Brad, you and I, we believe that America plays a significant role in Bible prophecy, and it's going to be the lamb-like nation, the nation that speaks like a lamb. That has two horns like a lamb, but it speaks like a dragon, and then it leads the whole entire world to worship the first beast, which is pagan Rome. And what was Rome? It was the church state. It was the government that worshipped demons, that worshipped heathen deities. And so this thing is starting in America, and the whole world's going to follow suit.
Oh, man.
That's why this UFO thing is an American phenomenon.
Aaron, you just opened a can of worms, because I haven't even started. Starfall 2 is actually what we're going to talk about, that, and where we talk about what all that happened.
That's
in
right.
Starfall, the first Starfall, I said at the very end, we don't have time to go into which nation is a lamb-like power, and you just revealed it. But this is huge, because when you realize what's actually going on here, and I'm going to reveal this in Starfall 2, it's really obvious when you come to see it. Because I mean, a nation like the United States has been such a blessed nation for so long. How is it not in prophecy? Let's go into that later. Let me open that and tack that later. But it's a really interesting study. Anyway, we have a couple more clips here. Let's get into them.
Somebody was wondering if you were flashing your credit card.
No. This is I hand these cards out. I wish I could zoom in on it, but it says Starfall on it. Starfall.
That's Starfall MasterCard, guys. Go ahead and sign up.
Scan this QR code and you can get my credit card number. No, you scan this and go to the website. You can watch the movie. And I'm going to hand these out. And I'm going to put a bunch of these into the books that I'm going to send out to our Patreons. And you too can get one too if you join our Patreon. Don't forget, patreon.com/strangenormal. Let's get back into the last few clips of this.
Yeah, what do you think would happen if people became aware, or if people suddenly realized, like hypothetically, one of these UFOs landed on the quote unquote White House lawn, like they say? What would happen to society? Would it really fall apart? What would be the implications of something like this happening, I wonder?
You know, I think at this point now, they've conditioned us so much with movies and stuff like that. There's two ways it can go. One way it can go, finally, where you guys been? We need some help here. The other way it can go is, people become worshipers right away, because we have this gene in us, this worship gene, which was inserted into the human genome. We know this now because scientists have actually found the worship gene. You can turn it on and they can turn it actually off.
What?
Yes, we have a worship gene.
Worship gene.
That's right. And so it makes us want to worship something outside of ourselves, when in true reality, we should find the power inside. And this was inserted by the Anunnaki. That's my hypothesis, I should say, on this one. But this gene has been found, but it's happened around 200,000 years ago. The Ark of the Covenant used to sit.
I'm sitting here typing into the comments, and I'm not catching them.
Basically what he said is that the worship gene was formed around 200,000 years ago. The worship gene. It evolved from a pond out in the Himalayas, and it merged with a frog. That frog eventually became a cow, Brad.
Oh, man.
And that cow eventually became humans who just have this dire need to worship something.
Because
I looked it up. It was written on the Sumerian tablets.
Because that's how it works, right? Apparently we get genes from worship from no gods at all. Yeah, there we go. We're getting a bunch of red flags in the chat now.
Yeah. Seriously.
So I think it's interesting that he, what did he say at the very beginning there? I added this clip because he said, what would happen if UFO landed on the front lawn? And well, we would start worshiping it. I mean, I see a significant amount of scientific people that are relying on what they see with their senses to say this is truth. And that's what would happen. They said, this is truth. We have to worship it. These are our makers. These are the people that are more advanced than us. Worship them so we can get this technology or whatever it is, or survive us from the coming disasters, which I think is the scenario that will play out. That's what's going to happen. That's the only thing he was correct about in that whole thing. All right. Last clip. Here we go.
Inside of that box, it was technology. It was a capacitor, and that would then give the extra.
Well, hold on. What box? What box is he talking about, Brad?
Let's go back.
Anunnaki. That's my opinion. That's my hypothesis, I should say, on this one. But this gene has been found, but it's happened around 200,000 years ago.
All right, here we go.
The Ark of the Covenant used to sit inside of that box. It was technology. It was a capacitor, and that would then give the extra boost and send the electricity up through the apex, where there was a gold capstone. The obelisk, which are magnetized crystal granite, would capture that ambient wireless electricity and then pass it on to what they call JED pillars, D-J-E-D. These JEDs, they had these JEDs. They're depicted in many hieroglyphs, people holding them and connecting them to light bulbs and electroplating devices in hieroglyphs, which I took everybody to go see.
Pause 1 second. What did you say was inside the box?
This guy's so confused. So,
I love that face. That's perfect right there.
Wait a second. Where is the obelisk next to the Ark of the Covenant in the Bible?
And also, like the flux capacitor? Is that what he's talking about now? Isn't that? I'm pretty sure. I mean, hey, look, I'm not a professional at this, Brad. You know that we're not professionals, but I'm pretty sure that was in Back to the Future.
That's right. Okay.
But he's talking about the Ark of the Covenant. In case anybody didn't catch that, he's talking about the Ark of the Covenant.
But not only that, he's going to answer this question next. He's saying that the sarcophagus is containing the Ark of the Covenant, because that's nowhere. I don't even think that's in the book of Enoch, and I don't even believe that in the book of Enoch as a legitimate source of truth. So he's really, I mean, did he dream this stuff?
You might have to rewind this a few seconds because we gotta.
You want to see it again?
Yeah, I gotta hear the capacitor.
Okay, I'm see if I can get back there again. All right.
I'm trying, Brad. I'm trying
boost
so
and
hard
send
tonight.
the electricity up through.
All right,
200,000 years ago.
Here we go.
The Ark of the Covenant used to sit inside of that box. It was technology. It was a capacitor. And that would then give the extra boost and send the electricity up through the apex where there was a gold capstone. The obelisk, which are magnetized crystal granite, would capture that ambient wireless electricity and then pass it on to what they call JED pillars, D-J-E-D. These JEDs, they had these JEDs. They're depicted in many hieroglyphs, people holding them and connecting them to light bulbs and electroplating devices in hieroglyphs, which I took everybody to go see.
He's serious.
Pause one second. What did you say was inside the box?
The Ark of the Covenant.
What is the Ark of the Covenant?
If you look into biblical text, for example, there
it
was
makes
this
me
ark
sick.
that Moses stole. He had this box. He claimed it was given to him by God, but I think he stole it from the Egyptians. This is why they fled after him.
An ark.
That's the hood talking, man. That's where his childhood story, trauma, whatever it is that he went through. You know, I'm sorry, I shouldn't make fun.
I shouldn't.
That's-
It's hard for me not to laugh at this because we know the real story behind it, and people don't send me comments and get offended that we're making fun of, because we're not making fun of him. The poor guy really doesn't understand what's going on, but he's so matter of fact about it, and
he has a platform, and it's pride. He's very proud about how wrong he is about this.
Right. And he believes it 100%, and that's what is so amazing to me, that I have to laugh a little bit at it, just wondering what is going on here. And how does he get to these? Because even he says right here, he says, I think that they stole it from the Egyptians.
Yeah.
What? No, that's not it at all.
Well, he didn't read the story. Really, that's what that comes down to.
He's making it up.
He's making it up. He's
Okay.
got the Sunday school version, probably from when he was a child, and that's probably all he's read or heard about it. And now he's got all this alien stuff that he's been reading. What he said since he was 8 or 7 or something like that. He was attacked by this doctrine at a very young age, and we're laughing because it's so bizarre. This is probably the more bizarre claims that we've heard on this channel, but I mean, this is actually a very bad spiritual state to be in.
Yeah, because you're not you don't accept anything specific as truth.
Mhm.
If you accept the Bible as truth, you stick to the Bible. But you're just grabbing at straws here. You're using the New Age philosophy of everything and anything, as long as you can put together and it feels right to you.
That's right.
Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, so it's this box with these cherubims on it, but these cherubims are really a capacitor. It generates a lot of electricity. Inside of this box is something that has so much radiation, that's what it looks like there, that you had to have on specific type of clothing, which is well described even in the Bible. Rubber boots, gloves, this type of suit with this breastplate of metal on it. This is all to prevent the radiation poisoning. When somebody didn't have it on in the Bible and they touched the ark, they would become very sick. Their hair would fall out, their nose would bleed, their eyes would bleed, their fingernails would fall off.
When did that happen? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Someone was asking just in the comments that wasn't the ark We did make the ark out of Egyptian wealth? Yes. Asking about like where do the children of Israel get the gold and the jewels and stuff? Well, yeah. I mean, it's like when if there's a natural disaster in your area and you leave, you're going to bring some stuff with you. And the children of Israel, they left. They didn't come out empty-handed. What's happening here, though, is that he's making the jump from that to say that the ark itself was technology that was stolen from the Egyptian gods, essentially. And it was Egyptian technology, but Moses stole it. So there's important to know there.
Right. And I like what Eric said here. I'll put it on the screen. Capacitors don't generate electricity. They store a charge. Not exactly technically accurate, but you can kind of think of it as storing. And he's correct. It's a temporary storage of electricity. That's the purpose of it's a short-term battery. And that's not what this thing was doing at all. And more than that, he goes and changes from electricity to all of a sudden it's radioactive. So you have to wear a breastplate to prevent the radioactivity. That's two different forms of energy. And so he's not even scientifically right here.
But he has a suit. So let's just give him the benefit of the doubt here.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Radiation sickness. This thing was generating some type of radiation power, some type of a generator of power of some sort. And it was connected to the Great Pyramid. It was in that box.
There we go. Connected to a pyramid inside that box. That's it, folks. Congratulations. We've figured out the inner workings of the Ark of the Covenant. No, what was in the Ark of the Covenant? This is actually truth. What was in the Bible says there was 3 things in the Ark of the Covenant, right?
Well, if he likes tablets so much, he would know that there were some tablets.
Right. Tablets, the 10 commandments.
That's right.
Were in the Ark of the Covenant. It was also Aaron's staff they put in there later. And it was help me out in the comments if you know. But it was, do you know what the third thing was?
What was the third thing? No.
Oh man.
Was it bread?
Yes, the manna. That's right.
Manna,
that's right. Yeah, the manna. I remember there was a third thing. I can't remember exactly what it was. Yeah, so
so what we have here, so the ark contained the gold jar of manna, Aaron's staff that had budded, and the stone tablets of the covenant, which was the Decalogue, the 10 Commandments. So I mean, hear me out. But some bread and a staff and 2 tablets of stone. I mean, I just don't see how that's going to be generating any electricity. But I better reach out to Mr. Bill because he might have some more information for us.
So it aches me how confident and how forceful the message is that is completely wrong.
Yeah.
And this poor guy, the host of this show, is just eating it up because, I mean, it's obvious. He's asking questions. What is Deuteronomy? What is the Ark of the Covenant? I mean, I get it. I get it because we and understand what's going on, but truly, the poor soul hasn't read this stuff, and so if you don't know,
he is so as a matter of fact about it.
Right, and it is sad. It's just terrible, but it's something, and it's, I guess you could say, it's strange.
Yeah,
it's a strange new normal that we're going into, which is
what's really unfortunate is just that we live in such a headline clickbait generation that people will hear little clips of his, because they're not going to sit there and listen to the whole 2-hour thing. Very few people will. I mean, it took us, it's hard to listen to something like that for 2 hours, but we listened to it, and most people are going to find little clips floating around TikTok. And a lot of these kids they're not doing anything like that. They're coming up with these ideas and they're hearing other people say it and they're like, oh, this must be the truth. This must be how this thing works. So unfortunately, there will be a lot of people led astray by listening and embracing what Mr. Bill Carson is espousing here.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Well, I think that's all we have for tonight. But I want to read some of the comments and kind of look and hang out with you guys a little bit. We might cut this part off, but
Eric Alder says that we figured out the ark. Now do the manna generating machine. Yeah, because I think through the interview he did turn it into a manna generating machine. He said it was like that's how they ate in the wilderness. It like generated the manna.
Is that what he said? See, I have to admit, about an hour into it, I fell asleep last night.
That's probably an appropriate response.
I wasn't. I mean, no offense to him or the host. It was just like, I'm trying to keep up and keep notes with this guy, but I wouldn't be surprised if he changed it into a mana machine. So it was a nuclear electrifying mana machine. Is that what it was?
That sounds like a item on the McDonald's menu, if you ask me.
Okay. Whew-wee.
Alrighty.
Let's see. Sandra says, at John, drugs for sure, mushrooms and acid and LSD, probably. Now that I've said that, I'm probably gonna have a little thing below my my video that says this video, it's dangerous to have those things. I'm trying not to say the words anymore.
Oh.
Those things.
Oh, you mean like a PSA disclaimer?
Yeah. They're gonna translate my text.
Sorry, get some help. Like that old what is it? Shaquille O'Neal. I think no. It was Jordan. What's the guy's name? Not Michael Jordan. Is it Michael Jordan? I don't know anything about basketball. All right. There's that video where it was like a PSA where he's talking about, telling kids like not to do drugs, and he's like, if you are, you or a loved one is struggling with drugs, stop it. Yeah. Get some help. Somebody, where's that meme at? Somebody find that meme. It's pretty funny.
This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, stop it. Get some help.
Reagan says Satan wants confusion. They will talk about pagan tablets, Christ, gods, miracles, etc., to make the Bible feel like one of those religious beliefs of the lot of them. So in other words, you're going to have all these things mixed into the bunch, and the Bible is one of them. That's what people think.
They're accepting strange as normal. Aaliyah, that's right.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Such a catchy title, Brad. How'd you come up with strange normal?
Okay. You tell me about that. There was
Come on, man. Give us.
I actually haven't told about. There's an article that was taken out in one of those UFO magazines where it was basically channeled, and it talks about this time period that this entity that's writing this is looking forward to. When you see these things out your door, this is what it says. You see these things out your window, and you know that you're being protected. And it says this is that new time period. I think a lot of Christians refer to this as the New Age. This is the new, and that song, "Welcome to the New Age."
Yeah,
it's this. I couldn't call the channel New Age, obviously, so it was referring to the strange normal. That's the strange normal that we're going into. And that's what's going to, it's just going to be completely different than we're used to. Yeah. And it's going to be a strange new normal. And so after COVID, they were calling, hey, this thing, the new normal. Oh, no, I said it. Hopefully I didn't catch it.
All right, you guys just plug your ears, scrub your eyeballs.
No. I didn't say the Fauci ouchie, did I? Of course not.
You did the Fauci ouchie.
Now I'm definitely gonna be hit by the YouTube.
At this point, man, they probably read your thoughts before you said it, so you were already in the can.
Oh well.
Oh, what else?
Anyway, that's what
else they have here for us. Did you notice that Joe Jordan said that he wanted to do another book giveaway if you were interested, for those who were not in the Discord? So there can be one, but just so that everybody understands, Discord members get the book.
Yeah. So Discord members that are in the chat, we know you don't type anything while we're doing this, but everyone get your keyboard ready. If you are half asleep on your bed listening to us because it is 11:30 on the East Coast, get ready with your keyboard, because we're gonna have you. People are already typing in numbers. What if I have you type a word instead this time? We're gonna give away.
I know it should be. No, that would be wrong, because some people are probably not very quick with the keys. We might have some elderly people in the.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do one character, but no one type yet, because you don't know what character I'm gonna use. So we're giving away this one book again. If you want the book for free, join our Discord, patreon.com/strangenormal. We're excited to give away this book because it has a lot of testimonies about the truth about what's going on in society. And
Hold on. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, just test noise.
I want to help out John Weaver when you're done because he wants to figure out how the Discord thing works.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So get ready. We're gonna type in the letter S into the keyboard. The first one with the letter S will get a signed copy of this. S. There's a delay on our feed. We're going to wait for the S's to come in. And drum roll, please. Oh, there we go. I see IT Guy 46. What do you see?
I see IT Guy 46. I also see someone who has been a reoccurring second, third place, but we'll deal with that later.
Okay.
IT Guy 46 is our man.
Okay. IT Guy 46, what we want you to do is email me, Brad Burnham at protonmail.com with your email address or with your what's it called? Your address. But I don't want tons of IT Guy 46 emailing me. So how do we verify this guy? That's the hard part. If we get multiple coming in, we're gonna have to figure this out. But if you want,
yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. How do we
man, that's
verify?
hard.
I mean, if somebody's really going to create a fake email to like be somebody else to get this book, that means Joe Jordan's doing something really good because they really want this book.
How about this? Can you tell us? No. What is your man? That's hard. So this is what you should do. No. Boy, I don't know. Yeah, IT Guy 46 message us. If we get multiple, we're gonna be very confused, but we'll figure it out from there. We're not gonna send out multiple books, but one signed copy. So email us tonight, IT Guy 46, and we'll get that out to you. I think that's it. Signed copy. Of course, if you didn't make it tonight, you can always just join any part of our Discord or our Patreon, patreon.com/strange normal, and we'll get one out to you. That's it, Aaron. Do you have anything else?
No. Other than be patient, be loving, be kind, and pray for those who are completely deceived by this insane delusion that is sweeping the world. We know that God and his word is the source of truth, and the scriptures are something that should be sought and read daily. It is the daily manna. We need Jesus Christ daily. And also in the Ark of the Covenant are the 10 Commandments. It's very important. It's not just the bread of life.
Not a generator.
Jesus says that man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. And this man that we listened to tonight, Mr. Billy Carson, was not an example of someone who lives by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. He likes to cherry pick the things that come out of the Bible. But if we abide by the scriptures, which are living, if we abide by his word, then we will find the source of truth, the daily bread. That's very important. So yeah, go in peace, be in peace. Thank you all.
Yeah, and I'm gonna read off our subscribers. We'll have a little prayer and we'll end it here.
Great.
Thank you so much. You guys do what we cannot, because we don't have enough money to fund all the advertising, all the stuff it takes to get this message out, and we really do appreciate all our Patreons. So thank you, Ramil, Leah, Andrea, Sin, Deborah, Michelle, Yarrow, MC, Rob, Josh, A. Cohen, Valerie, Nia, Heidi, of course, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron, for being on the show. Eric, Stephanie, Tim, Travis, Michael, Charidio, a seasonal name, Jeremiah, Andrea Tater, Brian Kalido, Roki, Simba, Jackie, John, and Mark. Thank you guys so much, because we really appreciate it. And all this, like I said, always, This doesn't go to line our pockets. This is something that we're using every single portion of this stuff to go out and spread this message. So we sincerely appreciate it, and we look forward to spreading the gospel and spreading the truth about this coming deception as far as possible. Let's pray. Yeah. Oh, were you going to say something before we pray?
No, just amen.
Amen. Father God, thank you so much that we get to spread your truth, at least for now, because we know the time is short, and these things that you have prophesied about are already happening in our life. We can see it on the news. We see things that are coming up, and most of even your church doesn't even see it yet. And so we praise you that you've shown us this, that we can be ahead of the game, and that we can be a part in playing the work as your tools in the heavenly shed. Guide us and direct us. Keep us safe. Every single one of us, every single one of our watchers here, every single one of the future watchers that are going to watch this program. We ask a special blessing for each of them. We love you, God. Amen.
Amen. All right. Well, now I'm going to go explain to my wife why I was yelling in the office. Did you and Brad get in a fight? No. We're good. We're good. I gotta explain. See you guys.
Bye.